Surah Al-Hadid. Surah Al-Hadid consists of 29 verses, including the Madaniyyah surahs, revealed after Surah Az Zalzalah. It is called Al-Hadid, which means iron, taken from the words Al-Hadid found in verse 25 of this chapter. The main contents of Surah Al-Hadid: all creatures glorify Allah. It is mentioned in Surah Al-Hadid verses 1 to 6. These verses emphasize the greatness of Allah as the most mighty and the most wise, who has the kingdom of heaven and earth and gives life and death to all things. Allah is the most beginning, the last, the most exalted and the most inner, the all-knowing of everything, created the heavens and the earth in 6 ages, and resides on the Arasi. He regulates the change of night and day, knows all the contents of the heart, and has power over all matters which are returned to Him alone. Priority of infaq. It is mentioned in Surah Al-Hadid verses 7 to 11. These verses emphasize the importance of believing in Allah and His Messenger, as well as spending some of one's wealth in the way of Allah to obtain great rewards. Allah revealed the verses of the Quran as guidance from darkness to light, with His great mercy. Those who spent wealth in the way of Allah before and after the conquest of Mecca had a high rank in the sight of Allah, who promised good rewards for their actions. Allah confirms that whoever gives loans to Him sincerely will receive glorious rewards in heaven. The condition of believers and hypocrites in the hereafter. It is mentioned in Surah Al-Hadid verses 12 to 15. On the day of great victory, the male and female believers will have their light shining in front of and to their right, with the good news of paradise in which rivers flow for them to live forever. However, the hypocrites will try to reach the light of the believers, but will be rejected, separated by a wall between them that separates the mercy within from the punishment outside. Even if they ask to join, the hypocrites are reminded that they have harmed themselves with hypocrisy, doubted the teachings of Islam, and were deceived by empty dreams, until the decree of Allah comes. So on that day no ransom will be accepted for them, and their place will be the fire as a refuge and an evil return. Reprimand to the believers. It is mentioned in Surah Al-Hadid, verses 16 to 19. These verses emphasize the importance of believers having a devout heart in remembering Allah and the Quran, and not hardening their hearts like those who previously accepted the Holy Book. Allah revived the earth after it died and gave signs of His greatness so that humans would understand the wonders of His creation. People who give alms and lend to Allah sincerely will receive double rewards and glorious rewards in heaven. Those who believe in Allah and His messengers will become people who are very firm in the truth in the sight of God, receiving reward and light, while disbelievers will become residents of the hell of Jahim. World life and recommendations for istighfar. It is mentioned in Surah Al-Hadid verses 20 to 21. These verses remind us that worldly life is just a game, carelessness and deceptive adornment, where people exult in wealth and offspring. The parable is like rain that amazes farmers but ultimately withers and is destroyed. In the afterlife, awaiting harsh punishment and forgiveness and pleasure from Allah. Therefore, humans are asked to compete towards forgiveness from God and the vast heaven which is provided for those who believe in Allah and His messengers as Allah's great gift. The disaster that happened has been written on Lawa Mahfuz. It is stated in Surah Al-Hadid verses 22 to 24. No disaster will befall on earth or on a person unless it has been written in the previous book of Lawa Mahfuz, because everything is easy for Allah. The aim is so that humans are not too sad about the losses they have experienced or too happy about the gifts they have received, because Allah does not like people who are arrogant and proud of themselves. People who are stingy and tell others to be stingy will be criticized because Allah is most rich and most praiseworthy. Iron is a gift from God. It is stated in Surah Al-Hadid verse 25. Allah has sent His messengers with clear evidence and has revealed books and balances so that humans can act fairly. Allah also sent down iron which has great strength and benefits for humans, as a test to find out who will help his religion and his messengers, even though Allah is not visible. This shows the power and might of Allah the Almighty. There is no priesthood in Islam. It is stated in Surah Al-Hadid verses 26 to 27. Allah sent Noah and Abraham and gave the prophethood and books to their descendants. Among them there are those who accept guidance, and there are also those who are wicked. Allah also continued in their footsteps by sending his apostles, including Isa, son of Mary, and giving him the gospel. Allah creates politeness and compassion in the hearts of those who follow him, but many of them create Madaniyyah without being required, just to seek Allah's approval, but do not maintain it properly. Those who believe among them will be rewarded, but there are also many among them who are wicked. Disbelief of the people of the book towards the Prophet Muhammad. It is mentioned in Surah Al-Hadid verses 28 to 29. Believers are asked to fear Allah and believe in his messenger, because with that, Allah will give 2 parts of his mercy, make light for them, forgive their sins, and Allah is forgiving and most merciful. The aim is for the people of the book who do not believe in the Prophet Muhammad to realize that all gifts come from Allah and are given to whom he wishes, because Allah is the owner of great gifts. Conclusion of Surah Al-Hadid. Surah Al-Hadid generally discusses the recommendation to donate and spend wealth in the way of Allah, and explains that Allah sent prophets to bring religion for the happiness of human life. This chapter also highlights the creation of iron, which is beneficial for human life, and to maintain the teachings of the apostles. In the context of faith, this chapter emphasizes that all matters return to Allah, and mentions several of his attributes and Asma'ul Husna, as well as his power in the heavens and on earth. The laws outlined include orders to spend property. Apart from that, this chapter describes the condition of hypocrites on the Day of Judgment, the nature of life in this world and the afterlife, as well as the purpose of creating iron and sending the apostles. This chapter also states that the religious life in the Christian religion does not originate from the teachings of the Prophet Isa, alayhi salam, and denounces ungodly people and those who encourage other people to act ungodly.